Alright everyone, I'm putting together a series of short little examples of what I do in the studio to see if I can help you or guide you or give you some suggestions on your own way of blogging, whether you're doing a text blog, whether you're doing a picture blog, whether you're doing a video blog and using sophisticated equipment or just bare bones equipment. You got to start somewhere, right? And so I thought I would show you a couple of things about the equipment that I use and also the techniques that I use. A couple of years ago, I worked for Stream International, and that was a very large technically based computer center where you would phone in, and we had the HP contract. And I was an HP technician before I went over to Stream, so I was ripping them apart in the field, and then I went over there as a first level, and then a week after they realized that I knew more than most of the techs there that were on the phone, so they bumped me up the second level, and then they bumped me up to trainer. So I had an opportunity to work all three divisions: first level, second level support. Second level is where we would talk to the technicians out in the field, what I used to be as a road tech. So it was a wonderful experience, and we had a really great training department. And here's what I found that was really, really odd, but kind of neat in the same way. I noticed that if a customer phoned in, I could use my voice to control or guide. Guide is a better word. Guide or help them calm down. For example, a customer would phone in and say her name is Mary. And she'd phone in and she was all frazzled, and her notebook computer, I was also part of the notebook division of HP, her notebook computer was not doing what it wanted to do. It was completely a disaster, and she couldn't get it up and running at all. So she would come on the line, and it was my place first to calm her down. And I did that with my voice. And the way that I did inflections, and the way that I used the tone, and the way that I waited with my voice. So she would phone in and she'd say, blah, 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 and I'd say, Mary, you and I are going to be working together, and we're going to be talking, and I'm going to be typing. And if I say anything that doesn't make sense to you, please do me a favor and let me know, and we can correct the information together, all right? Yes, okay. And then we would get into the crux of the thing. But I found that I was able to have a dynamic effect, usually, on the person's personality. It didn't work out all the time. But more often than not, probably 85 to 90%, I could help guide the person with my tone of voice. And on one of my reviews, one of the head trainers of the entire building came up to me, and I was so pleased. I didn't realize I was doing it. He said, it's called call control. And he said, Rick, you have the best call control of anybody I have ever seen walk through these doors. So I felt honored and humbled at the same time. I said, thank you very much, but I didn't think I was doing anything special. It's just I knew for sure that I could use a tool across the telephone to react favorably or help someone calm their spirits down. Because let's face it, when their computer is not able to boot up, and they've, say they're an attorney and they've got this file on their computer and it's the only copy they had, boy, oh boy, it's a pretty big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a series of what I do and what I did and continuing to do in the broadcast studio. Now, you know what? You can start out. If you're doing a blog for your personal or for your company or just for fun, you can have a lot of fun. I have a Toshiba notebook upstairs. And on that Toshiba notebook, there's a fairly good camera. It's not great. And a little microphone built into the computer itself. It's not great. The audio quality in the video camera is not going to win you any Emmy Awards, but it's a start. So I would suggest, even if you can't afford the basics of equipment, but you do own a notebook computer, start using the camera and the microphone on that particular computing device and put it to the side so you're not intimidated. A lot of people, if they see themselves on camera, they get flustered, they get intimidated. So put it to the side and fairly close to you, so your mouth is fairly close to the microphone. And just my suggestion is to read a book. and then record yourself, and you will start to see the parts of your speech or the rhythm or the balance or the tone or the inflection or the richness. You'll be able to see parts where you can improve. And I'll give you an example of that here. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a huge Clive Cussler fan. And this is Clive Cussler, The Jungle. So what I'll do is I will read for you a paragraph. Regular, fairly quickly, and then I will slow it down, and I will read to you how I think it would garner more attention. Okay, you ready? So here's the standard way or the normal way. Eastern China, 1281 AD. A thick fog filled the valley and spilled out over the surrounding mountains. Borne on a slight breeze, the mist made it look as though the peaks were breathing. From the ground, the dense forests were just shapes and silhouettes rather than individual trees. No animals scurried on the carpet of leaves and pine needles, and no birds were heard crying out. All was eerie silence. Even the army soldiers were subdued in the impenetrable gloom. An occasional muffled hoof print was all that was betrayed their presence. Okay, so that was normal. And we tend to, when we're podcasting in front of a microphone, we tend to speed our speech up. So listen to this now the way that I think it should be written to gain attention, for somebody to enjoy the flow of the words. Okay, Eastern China, 1281 AD. A thick fog filled the valley and spilled out over the surrounding mountains. Borne on a slight breeze, the mist made it look as though the peaks were breathing. From the ground, the dense forests were just shapes and silhouettes rather than individual trees. No animals scurried on the carpet of leaves and pine needles, and no birds were heard crying out. All were eerie silence. Even the army's horses were subdued by the impenetrable gloom. Impenetrable gloom? I screwed that word up. An occasional muted hoof stomp was all that betrayed their presence. I'll read the next paragraph the way I think it should be. Slowly the sun began to burn away the haze, and like something rising from the depths of the topmost section of the castle's roof, emerged out of the fog as far suspended from the ground. The fire-clayed tile roof glistened with moisture. Next to be revealed were the towering walls that surrounded the town. The ramparts, crinolines, were even as dragon's teeth. From a distance it was. And it goes to the next page. But I found that when I slowed down, and this is what happens, I listened to Leo Laporte on Twit TV a lot, and he's got a wonderful, wonderful voice, and he's been a broadcaster for a million years. And he's got it. He's got the gift of speech, and he knows he's just a natural at it. So I want to get better, so I watch him and his inflections and the way he speaks and the way he talks. And you can get away with a lot of times speaking normally or even speaking quickly, but the majority of people will absorb more information if you slow it down. He was asked to go on Audible and read a book. Audible has got, I think, 75 or 80,000 titles, and there's professional book readers that go on Audible, and they read books for people, and then they charge money. I'm a huge fan of Audible. And Leo did that, and at Audible they kept saying, Leo, slow down. So even professional broadcasters have sometimes a challenge or an issue with the speed of their speech. So I hope those two examples helped you, and there will be a whole bunch of other examples that I'll put together for you, and in an effort to help you be more successful at your blog. Thanks for joining me. My name is Rick, and I'll do whatever I can to help you with your blogging platform, whether it be video, text, pictures, or audio. I'll be here for you, and we'll go on an exciting adventure together. Thanks so much, folks. Bye-bye.